Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Eagles, for whatever time zone you are currently flying in. This is your colleague, Alumni Eagle, Otis Pate, class of 1985, swooping down to the nest, dropping off some more video episodes from Frankfurt, Germany. You know, I was just thinking, if one more person over here in Frankfurt complains about me capturing video here in public legal places, I'm gonna share and shove one of our yearbooks up into their face and say, look, our country and parents protected this country for almost 50 years. So let an eagle fly and respect the history before I have to get thousands of my alumni brothers and sisters all up in this piece to adjust your attitude.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Today, we're at Hugelstrasse, Eagles, where the Hugel housing area was. And today, here in mid-February 2013, it is but 30 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and my fingers are freezing cold. As a matter of fact, this famous Trinkhalle is right across the street still. And I'm thinking about going over there to get myself some hot chocolate, just so I can warm up a bit. But as I pan to the right side down here, I can't help but remember how much I was up and down this street. And as I look here in the housing area, thinking about all my former friends that lived here, and how much this place was called home by so many military families and former Eagles. All I can do is just have love for this place. Hugle housing area. Hugle housing area is not called that any longer, but it is an upscale property, I would say. I mean, there's higher properties of value, of course, but this is great because it's close to the Autobahn, it's close to public transportation, the apartments are roomy, there's playgrounds for the children, there's landscaping that's done here regularly, and on and on and on. Not to forget that there's balconies on all of these apartments, as well as convenient parking spaces for the tenants of the buildings. Hugle housing area also has two main entrances. One is from the street that we were just on, and the other goes directly down the street to Dornbusch. And Dornbusch used to have Straßenbahns that run up and down that street, but are no longer there. Though Dornbusch did lead to the Frankfurt Post Exchange, the PX compound. Nevertheless, I will always have much respect for Hugle housing area.
Where I'm standing right now, this is Hugel Field, where all of the teams used to practice, the youth services, the DYA teams, the dependent youth activities teams used to practice. Just doing a 360 for you. The Hugel Field is in between Hugel housing area and von Steuben housing area. Over here is von Steuben housing area, and over here, this is Hugle housing area. This location has been made into a park, and there's been hills added and things of that nature. I don't know if you can actually see how the hills have been added here. Of course, I'm looking through the viewfinder as I record this, but if you can't see that, there are hills here.
Hugel Field. Wow. Eagles, we are standing in Hugel Field. What memories do you have from this field? Might sound a bit silly, but I have a lot of memories from this field. And as I zoom to the right from behind one of these buildings in Hugle, it's my attempt not only to rekindle your memories, if you have any, from this field, but also to show you just how big, just how massive Hugel Field is. Hugel Field must be at least 6 to 7 football fields long. And for those of you who are on teams, football, cross country, the cheerleading team, etc., that practice out here in Hugel Field, you know what I'm talking about.
Von Steuben housing area, right here, the back of the building, down where the basketball court used to be. Right here, where this building is right here, is where the basketball court used to be. Now I'm standing inside of the housing area, and right here is where the basketball court used to be. And the building that was right next to the basketball court, of course. These buildings now have balconies on the front. I used to live here in von Steuben, actually, down here towards the end or the beginning, depends on which way you came into von Steuben housing area, but down in this area. And we didn't have any balconies on the front or back of our place. This is the little park that was directly across from where the basketball court was. There also was a building right here, some type of building, if you can recall. It looked like some type of furnace building, some type of utility building that was here on the basketball court. Now where this apartment building is here, and directly across from the basketball court was this park. I'm just trying to keep everyone's bearings straight to where I'm standing right now. If you walk around this direction, you would be going towards the Trinkhalle in the drive-in where you could get French fries and hamburgers, and towards the youth services here, right around to where that car parked, right around here. And as we walk on around past the playground towards the street, which would take us to the DYA or to the Trinkhalle or the bakery, this is what you would see. If you turn to the left, when you come out here to the main street from the Von Steuben housing area, and this is what you would see on the right. Right here is a bus stop now on this main street. Bus 64, Pfeifferstraße. That store is still there after all of these years. I've known that store has been there at least for 30 years. And where we're standing right now, you might recall, this is Raimundstraße, or in English, Raimundstraße. And that building right there used to be an orange building. It used to be orange. They painted it a few years ago and restored it. Right up here on the right, where that car's getting ready to come out, is where the drive-in is. Right there on the left is where we were just standing. Right down there is where we're standing. This is the bakery that's been there for many years. Right here. It's changed owners, of course, multiple times. And this is the Trinkhalle that's been there for at least 35 years, 40 years, at least 35. That's the housing area behind the Trinkhalle. And these buildings here have just recently been painted, and also very, and landscaped. Looks very nice. But these are apartment buildings, and now there's like boutiques and things like that downstairs. Here is the drive-in, where we used to play pinball and get those delicious fries that used to be there. The building was white for many, many years. As you can tell, it was just recently painted also. The tower, of course, looms in the background, the Europa term, the Europa Telecom term. And behind this imbus here, the pizzeria imbus, is the Youth Services Center, the Dependent Youth Services, or the DYA, Dependent Youth Association. I know many of you might have remembered this location to be a gas station, because that's what it was probably back in the 60s. That's what, from what I understand. In the 60s, this was a gas station. But I know for at least since 1977 that this has been a fast food place. This is a view from standing right in front of the drive-in where I just showed you a moment ago, where we used to get pizza and fries and all that good old junk food back in the day. This is what it looks like from here. This is the drive-in. And behind the drive-in, we still have the car repair place. So I guess some things never changed, because I can remember this car repair place being here back in the 70s when I first came over. But this, of course, now is a Plottin housing area. I'm going to turn around so you can see, get your bearings straight, like I keep on trying to vocalize. right here is where the DYA was. And I tell you, only about a year and a half ago, the DYA building was still there. Just recently, within the last couple of years, year and a half or so, is when this construction started. What they're building here now is a kindergarten central. That's what the sign right here says. It says kindergarten central. I'm sure it's going to be quite impressive because this housing area, which was once Plottin housing area, is very full. And I'm gonna tell you, people are very paranoid here. I'm gonna use the word very a lot because people are very paranoid when there's someone getting video footage. And of course here in the back used to be playground and all that stuff. And this building here, which was once orange back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, it was orange. Just so you get your bearings straight, that's all. Just trying to help you out. But as I was mentioning, people are very paranoid about those who have a video camera. I've even had the police come and ask me what I am doing while I'm simply just recording a video. Just simply recording on a public area that's legal. This is a shot of the old apartments from across the street at the DYA. We're on the same street that the DYA is on. Like if you left the DYA, the front door, and you'll walk to the left. This is where I am. I'll turn around for you so you can get your bearings straight. Right, that building right there is right across the street from the DYA. So that's where we are. And I think a very interesting thing is that down here, at the end of this street that runs in front of the DYA, they have a grocery store now, which is called Lidl. Right there used to just be, it was only a vacant lot. But that grocery store has been there for about, I would say 4 years now. And of course we have the Europa term ever present representing. Those are the name, that's the name of the streets these days. And this is the street that would be right down the street from the DYA to the left, right down the street. It's strange because these buildings have been repainted, but oddly, they look still pretty much the same. It looks like the military's been taking care of them. They've been taking quite good care of the real estate. It's clean, grass is mowed. Right back there is where the DYA is, that construction site now, just so you can get your bearings. And these are the buildings that are there now. And the street that's out of the DYA to the left, then you make the first left. This is where I am now. You've seen the front of the buildings. I'm just showing you some of the back of the buildings. And I'm going to go to another location.
Plottin housing area, baseball and softball field / football field was right here. There were some bleachers here, and the shrubs were missing, of course, but this is in fact the baseball field as it is February 2013. As I pan across to the left from the baseball field, right over here behind those bins was the T-ball field, the Bantam baseball field, and that also is just full of shrubs and things like that. I would imagine they're probably going to build, the city's probably going to build some more houses over there or something like that. This part of Plottin, and the street there is still called Plottenstrasse, is pretty busy throughout the day, as down here towards the left is an exit from the Autobahn now, and also down here, as I showed you a bit earlier, is the Lidl grocery store. This part of Plottin is very well kept too, just like the military used to do, just like the standards the military had. There's no litter, and although it's 30 degrees Fahrenheit outside today, I see children out and about, which I like a lot. Well, let's walk through the housing area a little bit. This housing area section is right across from the baseball field, and it is also an area that is well kept. I mention that because many of the housing areas in Frankfurt aren't normally as well kept as this area is. But I guess with the spirit of how the military kept this area, the German authorities have made sure that it continues to represent. Right there in front of us is the famous looming furnace or utility building that's been there for, well, I could at least say 35 years. Down here to the left is where we were standing earlier when I showed you the grocery store. Right straight down there to the right is where the DY8 would be. Just so you can get your bearings. Just trying to help. Plottin housing area. Wow. Eagles, we are in Plottin housing area. Man, I love it. Do you have any memories here in Plottin housing area? Well, if you do, you can see it hasn't changed that much. The layout is pretty much the same. Of course, the sidewalk has been redone, and right up here, that wire overpass, that wire tunnel like thing was once there, but that's been removed. Out here, the field is still there, and that tennis court that stopped being used in the early 80s is still here, being reclaimed by nature. This smokestack and this particular utilities building, I can attest, has been here since, well, at least 1977. Because actually that was the first time when I came to Germany with my parents, and my father was in the military here in Frankfurt. But I used to walk through here all the time, going through to Plottin housing area, and I was in 5th and 6th grade at elementary school number 1, which is over there by the baseball field that we saw. Out here on the main street is von Steuben, right up there on the left. And this is the very busy street, and even more so busy these days because of bus transportation up and down this street, which is new. Reimannstraße. Yes, it's the other end that we saw from earlier down by the Trinkhalle. Reimannstraße runs directly up to Dornbusch. My family spent 4 years in this area, and I have to say thank you, Eagles, for giving me a reason to come back over to this area and recall all those great memories I have from this location.
This is the street that you would be on if you go right, leaving von Steubenhausen area, and if you make another right at the traffic light. This is the street where bus number 39 ran on, and it is the street where bus 39 still runs on today. Bus 39 would take you over to the Edwardshausen area from this location. Just in case you're wondering what bus 39 is, bus 39 would take you from von Steuben, Plottin, Hugelhausen area over to Edwardshausen area, because it used to go from Genheim to Berkersheim, and in between there is where most of us American brats would get off. And the bus is coming now. And on the left, on the right is von Steubenhausen area. Here comes the bus. I'm American. Shh.
Nein! Nein! Bist du Amerika?
You would not believe how paranoid people are when you have a camera. It's almost like having a gun. Believe me.